everyone, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome to my Back to School series 2019. A lot of you have requested that I do a student bullet journal video for the upcoming school year, so today I will be showing you 4 spreads that you can use throughout the school year to help you be more successful. The first spread I'm going to show you is a student budget tracker, because probably the biggest change you are going to face in this upcoming school year if you are going to college is that you now have to take care of all of your expenses by yourself. So the first thing I did in this spread was do a 3x5 grid to keep track of the overall monthly costs, and then I made this giant list spread just to keep track of individual detailed costs. I am then taking all these different colors to color code the key that I've drawn here at the bottom. I have made 6 different squares so that I can keep track of 6 different categories of spending. This is a pretty easy spread to make. It just consists of 2 different trackers. The top grid, as I mentioned before, is for monthly costs. So I just keep track of my 3 biggest categories and write in the total amount spent on those categories in the squares according to the months. And then for the bottom list spread, I'm just going to keep track of exactly what I bought each time I went out to go shopping. So for instance, I spent $13 and I bought lettuce, tomatoes, and cheese on my credit card, and that's what's going to be in that list tracker right there. That way you always know what you bought and how much you spent, and it's easy to add it all up at the end of the month. I will also be using the colors to highlight that row according to the category of what I bought. The categories that I'm keeping track of, because they're my biggest spending categories, are coffee, food, clothes, decor, living expenses, and other, because there's always some random stuff that you don't anticipate needing. And the 3 categories that I listed on top are food, utilities, and total. Another thing that I like to keep track of, because it's very important, is how much money you start off with every month, and then the monthly stable expenses such as tuition, which are always there, because those are a huge chunk of your money which you need to know where it's going and what is happening with it. I also apologize for the weird lighting throughout this video. I am still trying to figure out where in my house I can film these kinds of videos. So this video was filmed outside, partly during sunset and partly not, so I apologize for that. Here I am just adding a little page flag for my page title and some really shiny metallic tape for the edges of my pages so that I can see where my bullet journal this is, even when the bullet journal is closed. I am also using some tape to put it over the page flag, making sure that it won't fall off and will always be there. The next spread I'm showing you is a student meal tracker, because you need to keep track of your meals, otherwise you'll be standing there not allowed to eat a meal because you've used too many of them, and then you're going to go hungry, and that's just no fun. The first tracker I actually made on this page is for my dining dollars. which is a kind of money I get to spend at little on-campus restaurants or shops like Starbucks and Einstein Bros. So for that, I just made a 2x5 grid to keep track of every month that I will be there for the first semester, and then how much I spent and how much total. The second grid that I'm making here is for my meal plans and how many meals per week that I use. The meal plan tracker is a 16 by 8 grid so that I can keep track of 7 days a week and 16 weeks in my semester. I will be using these zebra mild liners to color code the weeks and days, as you will see in 1 second. But first I'm going to label each week number and days of the week in each tracker. I'm color coding each day of the week because it's very difficult to look at just a huge grid of numbers and black and blue and red ink. It gets really messy and easy to confuse and mess up, so by color coding it I make it a lot easier on the eyes, and hopefully I won't mess up as many numbers this way because I will totally do that. And if nothing else, it's very pretty and I like that. I'm also making a little notes section at the bottom just in case I need to do anything on top of it, and adding some tape for aesthetic reasons. I also tried drawing a really cute piggy bank, but it just didn't work out. So you can do that, but I'm not. The next spread is a schedule because in the transition from high school to college, your schedule will look very different from what you're used to, so it's very important to keep it in a easily accessible place where you can look at it and know where you're going at what time. To do this, I made a giant grid in my pages so that I could keep track of 7 days a week, and every hour of that day is another box. Though I had to kind of tailor this because I messed up my numbers. If you do mess up your numbers or anything in your bullet journal, using washi tape is a great way to fix your mistakes. So as you can see, I made boxes for every hour of my day that I can fill out with my classes and work. And I also added these sticky notes here for my extracurricular activities, which could change around daily or weekly, so I don't have to mark it in pencil or pen and just move it around when I need to. The grid is 12 boxes high and 6 boxes across because I combined Saturday and Sunday. I made my hours go from 8 o'clock in the morning till 8 o'clock at night because that's really when I will be doing things. So here I am just blocking out my classes according to what time and day they are, using my highlighters a different color for each class. So the classes where I have Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I just have blocked out in the same color each day. Pretty self-explanatory. And here I'm just adding another piece of tape to the side of my bullet journal to make sure that I can find it even when it's closed, just like I did for the budget print. last spread I have for you guys is a homework/study tracker, because homework will also be quite different in college than it was in high school. And to do this, I'm making yet another grid. I'm just splitting up this grid into 5 boxes across the top and 7 boxes down, because I have 5 days of classes every week and 7 classes in total, so that'll just keep track of every single day of the week and every class I take. In this top section, I'll be keeping track of homework and upcoming test dates. So in the top box, the bigger section, I'll be keeping track of homework assignments, and in the smaller, thinner box, I'll be keeping track of upcoming quizzes and tests. This section is to keep track of any time I study, so what I study and how long I do it. If you're still in high school, this is a spread that I used for my high school classes. It's just a box for every day of the week where you can keep track of each assignment, just in case you wanted that example as well.